Hello and welcome to the answer key for the quadratic graphing review. You're going to score this paper and grade it according to my grading scale and make it out of 50 points. So the first one, it's if you plug in 3 here, we're plugging in 3 in for x, so we'll square it, make that 9, times 4 is 36, plus 5, f of 3 is 41, that's 2 points. It's 4 points together for these two. This one, we're going to plug 21 in for f of x. So it's going to go here, and then we figure out what does x need to be so that the function has a value of 21. Subtract 5 is 16, divide by 4, we get 4, then we take the square root, but remember there are two things that are the square root of 4, positive 2 and negative 2. So there are two answers, 1 point for each of those. If they leave off the negative 2, take off 1 point. Problem number 2. Our x-intercepts here are 0 for this one and 10 for this one. So 0 and 10. Then this is a minimum. The middle between 0 and 10 is 5. So we plug in 5 and find f of 5. f of 5, we're plugging in 5 here for x and 5 here for x. This is negative 5. This multiplied together equals 1. And when we multiply those, it's negative 5. So the function, when x is 5, has a height of negative 5, and that is the point right here. So this is 2 points, 1 for 0, 1 for 10. This is 2 points, 1 for the x value of 5, 1 for the y value of negative 5. The y-intercept on this one is very easy because we can look at the graph and see, hey, it crosses right there at 0, 0. So the y-intercept is 0, 0. Usually we'd have to plug in 0 to the function, but this one's very easy. So 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, and 1 point for drawing a good graph for a total of 6 out of this problem. Problem number 3. The x-intercepts here are negative 5 for this part and positive 1 for this part. 1 point each. Then we find the middle between those two, and that middle is negative 2. So we plug in negative 2 in for x and in for x. So this part makes positive 3, this part makes negative 3. When you multiply them, it's negative 9. Negative 9 times negative 1/3 is positive 3. So we know that our minimum when x is negative 2 is positive 3. So that's going to go on the graph right here. 1 point here, 1 point here. Now for the y-intercept, we plug in 0. We find f of 0, we plug in 0 for x and 0 for x. And that gives us 1/3 times negative 1/3 times negative 5 is positive 5/3, which we can change to 1 2/3 or 1.67. So for 1 point here is our y-intercept. That's going to be right here at 1 2/3. And so our graph goes through the intercepts, the y-intercept, and our maximum. Okay, so 2 points, 2 points, 1 point, and 1 point for the graph, total of 6. Problem 4. The x-intercepts are 2 and 4, 2, 0, 4, 0. The maximum here is the point 3, 5. Now the a value is where it gets tricky. So I did this, and then I left this stuff, and I came down here, and I set up an initial equation using my x-intercepts. That f of x equals a, because we don't know the front number yet, where we can use the x minus 2 and the x minus 4 from the x-intercepts. Now, because I know it has a maximum of 3, 5, I can plug in 3 for x and 5 for f of x. So when I plug those things in, 5 goes here, 3 goes here, and then I can figure out a. 3 minus 2 is 1, 3 minus 4 is negative 1, so 5 equals negative 1a, so a must be negative 5. Then I could put in this answer of negative 5, and I could write my final equation here, plugging in negative 5. So 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 2 points for the final equation, making sure that they understand how to write this correctly. Same thing here, just looking at the graph, the x-intercepts here are negative 3, 0 and positive 1, 0. The minimum is negative 1, negative 4. So again, I come down here and I write an initial equation, f of x equals something, x plus 3, x minus 1, to go with my x-intercepts. Then I plug in the x and f of x values that I have here from my minimum. Boom, boom, boom. So then I can just set this up, plugging in 1 and plugging in negative 4. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. That makes negative 4. Divide and I get positive 1. So then I come up and I put 1 in for a, and I can write my equation. F of x equals 1 times x plus 3, x minus 1. 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, and 2 points for a total of 5. Problem number 5 is worth 4 points. I can set up an initial equation based upon my intercepts. X minus 2, x plus 4. I don't know the front number yet, but I can then use the minimum. I know this is x and this is f of x, so I can plug those things in right here, and I can figure out a. This is negative 3, this is positive 3, that makes negative 9. When I divide 6 divided by 9, I get 6/9, which reduces to be 2/3. That a value then I can use here, and I put that in the front. So that's 2/3. We'll give them 2 points for figuring out a correctly, and 2 points for writing the intercepts correctly. So a total of 4 points on problem number 5. Problem number 6. If it has x-intercepts at 3 and 0, that means one of them has to be x and one of them has to be x minus 3. As long as it opens down and we don't know anything else, then the only thing that matters is that it's a negative number. So I would give credit if they had any negative number sitting in front times x minus 3, and any other negative number times x and times x minus 3. Moving on, problem 7. We can set up an initial equation based upon the intercepts. Looks like we're missing a parentheses here. And so that's x minus 3 and x plus 5. And again, I don't know the front number to begin. My leading coefficient, I don't know. But because I know the maximum, I can plug in 8 here. I can plug in negative 1 here. So I'll plug in the negative 1s, I'll plug in 8. Then we get negative 4, we get positive 4, we multiply and gets negative 16. Come over here and divide. 8 divided by negative 16 is negative 1/2. So that is my a value. We'll get 2 points. Please stay out for a moment while I finish, please. Negative 1/2 comes here. And we have x minus 3, x plus 5. And just close the door so the hallway's quiet. And so give them 4 points. 2 points for having a correct. 2 points for having the x-intercepts correct. And the next one, if it has only one x-intercept, that means it's a double root at 2. So we need to set this up again. It's got to be squared, x minus 2, but squared because it's a double root. And again, I don't know a, but I can plug in 0 for x. I can plug in 6 in for f of x. And this makes negative 2 squared is 4. When I divide by 4, it's 6/4, which reduces to be 3/2. Give them 2 points for figuring out a correctly, a point for figuring that this goes here, and a point for making sure it's squared for a total of 4. Zero product property. If a times b equals 0, then a equals 0 or b equals 0. They could also explain it using words. If two things are multiplied together to equal 0, one or the other equals 0. That is okay also. And then lastly, draw the graph of a function that has a double root. A double root means it's going to come down and touch it and go back up. It's not going to cross and recross. So a point if they have a double root here and they did that correctly at negative 3, and a point correctly if they made it open up. You should have a total score, add them all up, a total score out of 50. Make that out of 50. You can find the percentage just by doubling whatever number you have. And then have that score at the top of the page so we can talk about it. Have a great day!